Players are always coming into the league that have an absurd amount of talent, that have the chance to become the face of a franchise, or that could have helped lead a team to win a championship at the highest level of competition in the world, but for one reason or another just couldn't do it. Be it the result of injury after injury slowing them down, problems with stopping their personal lives from derailing their careers, or players that just couldn't figure out the game at the next level. Sadly, we've seen a lot of these kinds of players come and go out of the league, like Greg Oden, OJ Mayo, and Sebastian Telfair. But there's one that's so interestingly complex that he really couldn't be placed into a single category, let alone defined in any real way I can think of, and that's the Chinese legend Michael Beasley. Michael is so unique as both a person and a basketball player, and with his renewed passion to make an impactful career in the NBA, I have no doubt he's going to be a great piece on the Lakers this upcoming season. He once claimed to have as much natural-born talent as Kevin Durant and LeBron James, and honestly, he might, being one of the few players I can think of that can almost at random take over a game on any given night, dropping 30 or more points like some kind of overwhelming force, while at the same time being so wildly inconsistent that it's hard to pinpoint exactly how good at the game he is. I'm Mac Pinko, and I'm going to take a look at why Michael Beasley really is the walking bucket. For a little background, Beasley was picked second overall in the 2008 draft by the Miami Heat, right behind Derrick Rose, where he spent the first 2 years of his career before bouncing around not only the NBA, playing for teams like the Timberwolves and the Suns, but also China, playing for two different teams, the Shanghai Sharks and the Shandong Golden Stars. Even though he won tons of awards, including being selected as a two-time CBA All-Star, a two-time CBA All-Star MVP, and the CBA Foreign MVP, and was really highly regarded in the Chinese Basketball Association, the experience seems to have changed his mindset, making him really determined to want to play in the NBA. Since he's come back from China, he's played for the Rockets, the Bucks, and the Knicks, usually in a role as a man off the bench, and he's really done a great job at that. Also kind of acting as a culture piece for teams, just generally acting like a professional, doing what coaches want, never complaining, and trying to take advantage of every opportunity he's been given. So taking a look at him physically, standing at 6'8" ¼ in shoes with a wingspan of 7 1/4, he is good enough size to play small forward or power forward without disadvantage in the league. He's a great athlete, explosive enough to make it to the rim from a dead stop and fast enough to get by most defenders. His athleticism really takes form in his footwork and body control, where he takes advantage of almost what I'd call one of his two signature moves, his ability to spin by defenders where he will typically lay it in, pull up for a mid-range shot, or dunk the ball. Just the way he moves his body for someone of his size is really impressive. He does it with a ton of finesse and total control to get to the basket, something he almost makes look easy, being able to get by most players. The level of coordination it takes to make a move like this a mainstay of your game is really incredible and demonstrates how much of a feel for the game he really has. He's not particularly explosive in the sense of jumping or leaping ability, but he can still slam it down hard on size alone. He doesn't really use his handles to get by the defense, more or less relying on his size, quickness, and footwork, but obviously knows how to handle the ball. I don't think I'd call it a strength or weakness, but more of a non-factor. It's just something he really doesn't use or even need to be effective. Beasley has enough size and length to shoot over most players that try to defend him, and with a smooth enough stroke, this is kind of like the second of the signature moves I mentioned earlier. The way Michael shoots over people is very distinctive to his own game, and really is unlike someone like KD who just pulls up on whoever's guarding him. Not necessarily better or worse, just different. Beasley likes to ISO when he gets the ball, going into kind of a hunched over position to get his defender lower to the ground and easier to catch off guard, where he either pulls up for a shot with his huge frame right in their face, or he'll spin or speed by them for an easy look at the rim where he finishes with a mid-range jumper or some kind of scoop layup. He's got an overall nice form, preferring the mid-range, but he's not a bad three-point shooter by any means. This is another area where he really demonstrates his basketball IQ, overall awareness of everything on the court, and his self-control. He doesn't force bad 3-point shots on a high volume when being defended, and will instead pass or try to get closer to the basket for a better look. But if he gets an open look, he isn't afraid to take the shot, shooting 39.5% from 3 on 1.2 attempts per game last season, preferring catch and shoot openings, so having playmakers on this team like LeBron, Rondo, and Lonzo should allow him better 3-point opportunities on a higher volume. There are very few players in the league I'd call unstoppable when they get going, but Beasley is one of them, and when he gets hot, really demonstrates the talent that everyone saw in him when he was drafted 2nd overall. It's just the total package, the way he moves, his shot, his length, his speed, and his scoring mentality. It's like he's a different player and can get the ball in the hoop any way he wants, sometimes even making shots that really shouldn't work. Suffice to say, this isn't close to every game he plays. Despite all the positive attributes he has offensively, he's just not consistent, and that's the main thing that stops him from taking his game to the next level, and I really don't know why. He takes the same exact shots, they just don't go in. I don't know if it's a mental thing, but he always seems to be in the same mindset, so it's really hard for me to speculate on that. If he could play the way he does when he's locked in most games, he would be one of the most capable scorers in the league. Don't take this the wrong way, he's still a good player with a great feel for the game. When you watch him, you can see he understands basketball and knows what he should be doing. Just kind of being in the right place at the right time, where he should be making cuts, and just generally being in the correct position on the court. When given the opportunity, he can put up good numbers like he did in New York last season, like 13.2 points per game and 22.3 minutes per game. He's a decent rebounder, nothing crazy, pretty standard for his size and position. His passing game is actually surprisingly good, even though it might not translate to the scoreboard, with hard, accurate passes to open men. Nothing insane, but good enough. His defense is even pretty good. He does a good job of staying with his man and abusing his size and length to make getting by him difficult. Again, by no means a lockdown defender, but the effort is there combined with his athleticism, length, and natural feel on the court, so he can be a solid defender. With all of his pros tied together with charisma and the ideal attitude you want from a player, to go out and play his best every game without complaints and just doing what's asked of him while trying to help the younger guys grow and learn, Michael really does have a lot to offer on the court and will really be a good influence to the up-and-coming players on the team, just generally helping them develop. Beasley can be one of the scariest scoring threats to face down in the league when he gets going, and is truly deserving of the nickname the Walking Bucket, at times making some of the most impossible shots you can ever see, with his one major weakness being his consistency. If there's any player that proves the hot hand exists, it might be Michael Beasley. We label players who don't live up to the hype surrounding them and their potential as busts, but I think the word kind of carries a negative connotation, where we assume every bust should be out of the league, which isn't always true, sometimes managing to still be a good, if not great, role player. While Beasley may not ever live up to the expectations fans had for him when he came into the NBA, for whatever reason, he definitely still has a role to play on any team in the league. Even further than that, I'm definitely being optimistic, but I still think he has a chance to figure his game out and find his consistency, and on a team with such playoff potential, I really think he could be motivated to try and push himself and his game to the next level. And though past mistakes might follow him, I don't think they should define him. He's established that he wants to be in the league, and he wants to prove that he can be one of the best players in the game. If he's ever going to back up his talk, this is going to be the season to prove it, to showcase how good he can really be, and why he's your favorite player's favorite player. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys have a player or a team you'd like me to take a look at, write about it in the comments section. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.